All right, welcome back to the SSL Family Dad channel. Today we're going to talk about the number one thing that I would recommend for any young man to do. It's my number one recommendation. It's something that I tell my nephews, something that I tell any young man just getting out of high school or even during high school and during that college time. So, your late teens, early 20s, something I would recommend that every young man do. There are certain sets of skills that you are going to need as a man throughout your life. As you get married, have kids, have a home, have cars, have an apartment, have a house in a subdivision or out in a farm, whatever it's going to be, there are certain sets of skills that are going to help you out, that are going to be very beneficial for you. Now, you certainly can hire all these things out. You can go through life and there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want to do. Lots of people get, jobs doing other things and they just hire everything out. Anything that needs to be fixed, anything that needs to be done, anything that they need built or whatever, they just pay other people to do that. And if that's your thing, that's totally fine. But there are some skills that I just feel like are foundational and that are super handy to have. And they can just save you a lot of time and money in the future and just allow you to do a lot of things yourself and just have an understanding of how things work that we all have to deal with. So as we get out of high school, we start to think about our future, we start to think about college, we start to think about all these other things. There's a lot of choices out there and there's a lot of things you can do. You can go work at fast food restaurants, you can go work at car washes, you can go get a lot of low-skilled jobs during that time in your life and make some money, and that's fine, and get some work experience. But there's a whole lot of jobs out there where you really aren't learning any life skills. And so the one thing that I would recommend for any young man out there is to look into getting a job in a trade. Very specifically, my recommendation is to get a job at a heating and cooling company. Heating and cooling is a trade that it requires a vast amount of skills. It's not just sheet metal, it's not just electrical, it's not just plumbing, it's all of those things put together. Go to some local heating and cooling companies. They're all over the place. There's small ones and big ones. And just ask them if they need somebody to help, even if it's just organizing the shop or cleaning up or going out with guys and just being the go-getter or whatever it is. You don't have to take a huge wage, just whatever you'd make at McDonald's or something, and just tell them you'll help out. You're going to learn an amazing amount of skills on how things work in a home. You're going to learn how houses are built, how they go together, how the heating and cooling systems work, and just by being part of that and seeing it and seeing those things go together, you're going to learn a lot. Installing a furnace or heating and cooling systems, there's so many different kinds. There are boilers, which requires a lot of knowledge in plumbing. You're going to learn about how to solder copper pipe, how to use PEX pipe, different sizes and how all that stuff ties together and heats a home. If you do forced air heating systems, you're going to learn sheet metal work. You're going to learn how to handle sheet metal, how to make things with metal and use some basic sheet metal tools. Installing furnaces requires working with PVC and PVC glue. It requires working with sometimes chimneys and chimney liners. You're going to learn about those systems. You have to hook up electrical outlets for air conditioners and run electrical lines and add breakers to panels, run electrical lines to furnaces and switches, and just some basic stuff that's going to help you to understand how homes work, how a house works, and all the different systems that go into that. And that's why my recommendation is to work in the heating and cooling industry in some way. You do have options of working in commercial heating and cooling companies or residential, but I would really push towards the residential. Even if you only have an opportunity to work there during the summers, if you're in college or part-time or whatever it is, those companies could always use somebody to ride along with service technicians and just help, to ride along with installers and just help, to work in the shop and clean up and organize things. You're going to learn about all the different parts. You're going to learn about, the different size fittings and how that all works and what types of things and products are out there. You might learn how to thread pipe, using pipe threaders. You're going to learn how to use electrical conduits. You're going to learn so many different things that are just, even if you're not an expert and you couldn't go in and install a furnace on your own, just having the knowledge of how all those things work is super important. When you live in a house, when you buy your first house, when you live in an apartment, when you live in a condo, when you live wherever you are, you're going to have some type of heating system. You're going to have electrical outlets and things, electrical things. You're going to have plumbing. You're going to have toilets and sinks and all those things. And if something leaks, if something breaks, if something's not working right, you can look at it and have an understanding of what the problem might be. maybe you still need to call somebody, but at least you have an understanding of what work they're doing and what they're charging you for it, so that you're not completely oblivious to what's going on and how long something should take and how much parts cost and all those kinds of things. A lot of times people will make comments about, oh, how do you know how to do that? Or you know how to do so many things. Well, I really don't. I don't know how to, I'm not an expert at electrical. I'm not an expert at plumbing. I'm not an expert at sheet metal work. I'm not an expert at any of those things, but I have enough of an understanding where I can go look at a couple videos sometimes, or maybe look up a couple articles online and get some general ideas of what needs to be done, and I know how to do it. I know how to, run wires. I know how to solder copper pipes. I know how to do the basic things, so that now I can take the foundational knowledge that I have and apply that to anything. And you learn from doing those things and getting experience. And so if my toilet doesn't work, or my, something's not working with electrical stuff, or, I'm having plumbing issues, or I need to move an outlet, or doing simple, I can do all those things. And I don't need to hire somebody and pay them hundreds of dollars to come out and do something that could be done in 30 minutes or an hour. These skills are important no matter what you plan on doing for the rest of your life, no matter what profession you want to be in. It's just super important to understand how all these things work around us. Even if you're, going to be an accountant somewhere, and you're going to work in a financial industry, and you're going to be in an office all day, you don't need to do those things. You're still going to live in a house, and you're still going to, have to deal with these things at some point. We all have to live life, and so understanding these things is just super important. And this doesn't go just for young men. This goes for young women also. If you're a young woman out there and you're looking to further yourself and get an understanding of the world around you, getting into a trade, heating and cooling, or any of the trades, and getting a basic understanding of these things is going to help anybody out throughout their life. So that's my number one recommendation for what you should do with yourself at some point, and at any time in your life. If you're in between jobs, if you lose a job or something like that, and you're looking for something to do until you can get on your feet in whatever your field is, go work somewhere. Even if they're going to pay you a minimum wage, go work somewhere where you can gain some skills that you're going to use. I guarantee if you work at a heating and cooling company or any trade, you're going to learn skills that you will apply at some time in your life. There's no way around it. Everybody has to deal with life. Those things are going to come in handy. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the quick little chat video today, a little rant. This is just something that's been on my mind, and something that I get asked about a lot of times. People will say, how did you learn to do this or that, or how do you know how to do these different things? And that's where I got the most experience and knowledge, is from the time at that heating and cooling company. Now, there's lots of other options out there. So what is your top pick? What would you recommend, skills or a job that everybody has at some point in their life? I'd love to hear that stuff in the comments down below. Of course, hit thumbs up on the video and subscribe if this is your first time to the SSL Family Dad channel. Lots of good stuff coming up on the channel. Love to have you tag along. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good one.